Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode here in MotoGP, and here we are for I think it's round 7 at Catalunya. Now to give a bit of a recap of what happened in the previous episode, we'll look at the Riders' Championship. So we're now 37 points back of Marc Marquez. We had our worst weekend to date, probably in any of the categories of career mode, although it is our joint worst finish in 9th place. In qualifying we didn't even get into qualifying 2, we managed to get 14th on the grid in the end. That's where we started. So we started 14th, managed to claw our way back up into 9th, basically in the first couple of laps. And there was nothing more I could do. I just did not have the pace of the pack in front, and Marquez really had even more pace than those guys. He cleared off, a bit like Austin, he cleared off so far into the distance. So I'm hoping this weekend we can be a bit closer to Marc. So obviously Dovizioso moved it up into 4th in the previous episode as well, because he's finally got his championship started. He got a podium, with Rins getting 2nd as well and himself in 3rd there. But with no notifications then, I think the only thing left to do is to actually head into qualifying 1. So hopefully it'll be a dry weekend. It looks like a fully dry weekend, yes. So that's kind of what I needed. We've had plenty of rain. We had a fully wet weekend in Mugello. Still no dry race yet in Mugello at all in career mode. Moto 3 and Moto 2 also being wet. But I'll see you in Q1 here in Catalunya. So then here we are for qualifying 1 here at Catalunya. Let's have a look who's in the session with us then. So interestingly enough, Aleix Espargaro finally not getting through into Q2. So obviously every single weekend so far he's been into Q2. But it's him and Petrucci this weekend, so it's probably actually a good shot at actually getting into Q2 for us. I mean, we've only not got through once, but should be a bit easier than normal since we only have to really compete with one proper factory Ducati, although Bagnaia is on one as well, but I think he's only gone through once, and that was in the wet conditions. So finally a bit of normality then with a dry qualifying session, so we can go out and set a decent lap, and it actually will mean something straight away. Because previously we've having to be setting all the lap times right at the end of the session for them to actually mean anything. So we'll head out onto the track now then, and we'll put in a first banker, and then if we need to do anything else we can put in a second lap with a new set of tyres. So I'm really determined to win this race this weekend. I mean, the AI are fantastic at this circuit, but we have to win. There's basically no other choice than to win this race this weekend if we want to keep this championship with Marc Marquez alive. Obviously it's entirely possible that he could throw away a load of points later on in the season, but we can't bank on that, so we have to try and bring down the lead legitimately the way he's stretched it out. Obviously for him it's been a bit easier because we've not had the greatest bike, so we've been a bit inconsistent at a few rounds. So 4/10 off in the first sector, which is really interesting considering it's about 2 corners long. So sliding the bike through turn 3 then, along the straight towards turn 4. So we've got 2.4 laps off fuel left, so good job we're only doing 1 banker lap at the start here. Braking for turn 5. Ran a little bit wide into 5, but if we pick up a bit of a, well, not really a late apex, we picked up the bike. The bike's wheeling out of there. That's unhelpful, so that's probably an area I definitely would upgrade if I had to upgrade the bike, would be the electronics. So we're half a second off in the minute, so we are really, really slow. So down towards the infamous turn 10, a very tricky little corner. We've probably gone in a little bit hot there. We're now 7/10 almost down on Jean Mir's time. So yeah, the AI really do have something here at this circuit. I'm not liking the fact that we're already so far off the pace with what's been a very good lap actually at this point. So towards the line then, what is this going to be? 1 minute 40.3, which is 3rd place, 6/10 off. So I'm going to go for another lap on this stint. So through the first corner, then flicking over into the second. The problem is I have to just be so careful not to wheelie the bike, because that costs us time. But we're 2/10 underneath Mir's time in the first sector. Still red underneath Mir's time by a 1/10. Now we're 4/10 underneath, so we're taking so much time out of it. I don't know how we're going so much faster. But towards the line then, is it going to take us to top of the session? Yes it is, by a 1/10 of a second, so we hit the top of the session. We're going to be out of fuel as well here. So hopefully that's good enough at the end, but it's only a 1/10 quicker than what Mir had already done. The AI tend to improve by about half a second over the course of a session, so it might not be good enough at the end. So I was actually wrong then, it was good enough at the end of the session, still a 1/10 faster than Aleix Espargaro in 2nd place. Mir ended up in 4th, so a very, very close Q1 session actually here. So Lecuona at the back of the grid then, whereas Oliveira 7th. So hopefully those guys can try and score us some points for the Constructors' Championship and obviously for the Teams' Championship as well. Although they only take the top scorer in the Constructors, so mainly just for the team's championship. Hopefully one of those guys can score some points. But Petrucci being knocked out once again in qualifying 1. So he's really not had a good season in terms of qualifying, old Danilo Petrucci. But Aleix Bagro, he didn't get through in the practice sessions, but he is still getting through into Q2. So to be honest, he's the rider that's been the MVP of qualifying, outperforming his bike by a massive margin. His only problem is that he's not been doing that well in the races, so he needs to probably try and transfer that over to the races if at all possible. But then we'll head into qualifying 2 now. That seems like a really quick qualifying 1 session, probably the fastest one we've done, because usually I'll be doing a couple of stints, but we just did 1 stint. It was good enough to take us to the top of the timesheets, so you can tell that I really want it this weekend. I really want to try and get something decent, but I don't think that time will put us particularly high on the grid, but it's better than the last weekend. We've met the qualification goal, so we'll get the reputation. So let's head into Q2 now, and hopefully we can try and start very well on the grid. So then, getting through to Q2, so we've already started the weekend better than we did in Mugello, getting through with a very quick lap time. It's actually reminded me a little bit more of Argentina. I believe we got through quite easily there as well into Q2. So here's hoping it can be a similar sort of race, but I want to beat Marquez this time instead of finishing behind him. I'm just so disappointed that we threw away so many points at Mugello, because we've been very good this season. We obviously had lost quite a few points from him, and it was unfortunate to lose out in the head-to-head at Le Mans with him. But we threw away just so many points in Mugello. I mean, it wasn't really my fault either. Well, it kind of was, because I decided not to grade the bike, but I just couldn't get any more out of the bike at that circuit. It's not a track I'm fond of either, so that probably didn't help. So we'll set on a set of softs then. We'll head out onto the track, and let's put down another banker lap. So starting the lap then here in qualifying 2. So the benchmark already is Nakagami's 1 minute 39.5. Now that's going to be a tough lap to beat, especially if I can't hit the apex at the first corner. Got to watch out the bike doesn't wheelie too much between 1 and 2, because you can lose quite a bit of time there. So 2/10 down on Nakagami's time currently, which isn't too bad, but then you got to remember, of course, he's probably not going to be the guy going fastest in this session. So sliding through turn 3, down the straight towards 4, hitting the brakes, turning in. Not too bad. They probably could have pushed it a little bit more. We're a little bit wide on the apex as well. Perhaps we could have pushed the front a little bit more going in there. I do trust the front on this bike a bit more than I used to. When I first got on it, I really couldn't ride it, but now I've been riding it for a couple of weeks. Really, I suppose, because the career mode's been going on for a couple of weeks, and I'm quite used to it now. So we're 3/10 down on Nakagami's time through this section. We've ran a little bit wide, so it probably cost ourselves a little bit of time through that sector. So we're 3/10 down now on Nakagami, so nearly 4. That's quite a bit of time. The bike wheeling out of 10 as well, through 11, flicking the bike over for 12. So hopefully Nakagami's going to be the guy on pole, because at this rate it doesn't look like we're going to be too good in terms of time. Although that is slower than what we did in Q1, I believe, so we should be able to go quicker. Through Catalunya corner then. Out of Catalunya corner, coming up towards the line. What's the time going to be? 39.5 to beat 39.7, so second place right now, but only a 10th off. So we found a bit of time in that last sector then. Hitting the brakes for the first corner. I might go for another lap here. Oh, but we've gone way too wide into turn 1, so that's probably that lap done already. Bit of a wheelie, yeah, and we've invalidated it as well. So I think I'll head back to the box then, fast forward a little bit in the session, or maybe not even fast forward, just see where everyone else stacks up and then come out again for another lap. So yeah, we've instantly dropped down the order a little bit here, down to 7th place, although we are in front of Rossi apparently. Nakagami's 5th, that's pretty good for Nakagami, but Marquez hasn't set a time yet, which is the most crucial thing. He is on a lap apparently, so we'll have a look at what his lap is when he crosses the line. He is in sector 4 currently. Marquez headed into the pits instead of doing his lap. He's changed his set of tyres. I think I might actually try medium rear, just see what that does for us. So 7 minutes left in the session. It says there's not enough time for a guided setup, so that might mean we're only allowed to go out for sort of one more lap. So medium tyre, soft, there's enough soft fronts, so we'll go for a fresh soft front. We'll go for a medium just because the soft gets really hot, so we're going to go for 2 flying laps at the end of the session. 7th place so far isn't too bad, but I want to see if I can do a little bit better than that. So it's really weird, I've kind of discovered that over the other episodes, and I've not mentioned it before, but I've just thought about mentioning it now because I've just done it. You actually have to use a rewind to make it so that the right time shows up for the pole position, otherwise it just doesn't update. So the 38.9 currently by Maverick Vinales, a time to beat. So we're on the medium tyre now. Hopefully that'll be able to take a bit more heat for us, and it should allow us to ride a little bit better, and it's obviously a bit more representative of what I'll be using in the race as well. So personal best in the first sector, 1/10 down on Maverick. Oh, massively off in the second sector, it's not even a personal best, so I'll put the fuel down into 1 just to try and save some fuel. but it wasn't a well-ridden sector, it must be said. Oh, actually, we're going personal best there, but we've run wide into turn 10, so I think that's probably why we got a bit too late on the brakes. So coming up towards the line then. Not a new personal best, almost a second off Vinales, so we're going to have to go for this last lap. Morbidelli's now crashed. We're going fastest in the first sector, 78 thousandths underneath Maverick Vinales this time. Personal best, 3/10 off. Personal best, 4/10 off then in this sector, so we look like we are going to improve our time. Well, towards the line then, what's the time going to be? 38.9 to beat. 39.3, but only moves up one position, so we have to do all that just to move up one position. I don't think there's enough time for us to do anything else now. 2 minutes left in the session, so I think 6th place is going to be our best possible starting position, which isn't the end of the world. We've not been fantastic in qualifying. So we'll head back to the pits then now, and I think that'll be the end of the session for me, because I'm going to have not going to have enough fuel. So then, at the end of the qualifying session, then Rossi, right at the end, went fastest. So it is just like in Argentina then, with Rossi on pole position, then 53 thousandths ahead of Dovizioso in second, Vinales in third, Marquez in fourth place, fifth for Rins, sixth for Crutchlow, seventh for Quartararo, myself in eighth, Aleix Espargaro down in ninth place, Nakagami in 10th, Miller 11th, and Morbidelli in 12th place. So 8th place, not a bad qualifying result considering we've not been particularly strong in qualifying except in the wet conditions. So the medium tyre seemed to heat up a lot in that session, so I'm definitely going to have to go for a hard in the race. So it feels very much like Argentina. Rossi on pole, a really close grid, me getting through Q1 pretty easily, and a hard tyre. I think the hot tracks just seem to bring the pack closer together. It's quite weird, so hopefully we'll have a nice pack battle like we did in Argentina. So down here on the grid then, Valentino Rossi once again on pole position. Hopefully he can try and turn his championship hopes, well, it's not his world championship hopes, but hopefully he can make his championship be a little bit better in this round there. Dovizioso in second position, Alex Marquez there in 15th place, so hopefully for him, he'll be hoping that he can come through the pack and try and challenge Mark a little bit more. And there's myself then in 8th position. So like I said, I'm on a soft front, hard rear. I feel like that is probably the best combo for this circuit. The front didn't seem to overheat too much, which is good, because in Mugello that was the problem. I can sort of deal with an overheating rear, like it's bad, but it's, you know, it's expected. But when the front starts overheating, you're in serious trouble, because I really hate that. Like, I can sort of ride around a warm rear, I can just carry on spinning it, or I can just be a bit more careful on the throttle, but when the front is overheated, that's it, I'm just going to probably crash. Luckily I didn't crash in Mugello, which would have been even worse. So then, starting from 8th position, not the worst qualifying position in the world. Let's see if we can gain any positions on the first lap, and then we'll sort of see where we are, and hopefully we can try and beat Marquez in this race. So Rossi on pole then, sort of looking around. He's starting on pole for the first time since Argentina. We're waiting for the lights to go out here. The lights out, and away we go. It's not been a terrible start. The bike wheeling a little bit there, shifted up to second gear, sort of brought the front back down. Going to go back down to power mode 1 now, so we use power mode 2 off the start. Petrucci looking for a move on Quartararo, I think it was on the outside there, hitting the brakes for the first corner. Miller just comes diving on the inside, pushing us a bit wide. They are going a bit wide, we've cut underneath Quartararo, cut underneath Rins. Miller's done the same, we've passed Miller now as well, but we've ran a bit wide, that's allowed Rins back through, so we're up to 7th place. It's been a pretty decent start there. On the inside of Rins, can we get him? No, we can't. But here we go, we've got the drive, we've got past him now, hitting the brakes. So Vinales up next. Rossi's already dropped to third, but Dovizioso's leading crucially. It's not Marquez, it's Dovizioso leading the race. So Vinales ahead of us in 5th place, looking for a way past him when we cannot the inside to turn 5. That'd be a very, very brave move. We kind of forced him a bit wide, no contact, but he had to leave us a bit of space, so we're through up into 5th place. We're not messing around today. I need to catch up to Mark. I need to obviously try and pass Dovi as well, really. I need to try and win this race. So down towards turn 10, and Crutchlow coming towards our line. We're going to have to go in a little bit wide there. Luckily it didn't affect us too much, probably got a bit of a better exit than Cal. We're looking for the inside move on him, but we couldn't quite get him there. Can we get up the inside to turn 12? No, we can't, but we can sit behind a little bit for now, because we've had a pretty good start, but just got to make sure that the two guys in the front don't get away too much. Obviously Dovizioso and Marquez I'm on about, because we need to beat Marquez in this race. Through Catalunya corner then, out of Catalunya corner, about to start the second lap. We've lost a little bit of ground to Crutchlow there. So 47.1 on the first lap, 4/10 behind Crutchlow, so we need to try and catch him a little bit and then pass him. So here we go then, looking for a move on Crutchlow. Oh, it'd be a risky move into turn 7. We couldn't quite pull it off there. I only closed up to him right sort of on the brakes, like towards the apex, but he's probably holding us up a little bit now, so we need to try and get past him if possible. So here we go towards turn 10 again. I'm having to go to the outside because the AI go very, very defensive. There's no way I could actually get up the inside, but he's run a little bit wide on the exit, carrying the power through. Are we going to have the inside for this corner? Yes, we are. So we're in front of Cal Crutchlow now, up into 4th place. So the next rider ahead to overtake is Rossi, and it's nice to see him back up on the podium. So at the end of the second lap then, Dovizioso 39.7, 40.5 for myself there, so lapping a bit slower than the AI at the front. So coming to the end of the third lap then, 39.7 for Rossi, 39.5 for myself, so me and Rossi are catching the guys in front. So then 1.3 seconds behind at the end of the 4th lap. Rossi's all over the back of Marquez now though. So at the end of lap 5 then, 39.7, 1 second behind Rossi. It's so hard to catch these guys up. Closing up massively on them now, 3 tenths behind Valentino Rossi. In fact, I think I might be looking for a move on him here. Oh, we've not quite had the turning that I wanted. We're all over the back of Rossi now. Oh, just tapping his rear there into that corner. So we're about to start the penultimate lap in a second. He seems to be losing massive time, although they all do actually. Don't know whether it's because I'm lapping quicker or if they've now hit tyre problems because they were pushing so hard earlier on. But out of the last corner then. What's the lap time going to be coming towards the line? 39.6, so I'm going a little bit quicker, but it seems like they slowed down a lot. Rossi seems to be losing a lot of time on the straight here, hitting the brakes then for the first corner. Rossi's actually braked very, very late. Much later than I expected. Here we go on Rossi, oh, the inside to turn 7, aggressive move. I've pushed him right out the way. Is he going to be able to stick that through? No, but I've probably cost us way too much time, but I needed to get him there. So we're up into 3rd place now, onto the podium. Marquez is next. So it's about to start the final lap then. 1.4 laps of fuel left, 1 minute 40.0. We're 6 tenths behind Marc Marquez. Can we do anything to beat him here? He's looking for a move on Dovi, I think. Out of 5 then. Don't think we're going to be as close as we were to Valentino to make that move up into turn 7. Into the brakes, although we are pretty close to Marc. Maybe on the exit of 7. Are we close enough to do anything to Marquez as we go towards turn 10 at the inside of Marquez? Are we looking for the inside of Dovi as well? Not quite. On the power though, we're going to be able to get it past Dovi. Side by side with Dovizioso. Dovizioso still holds it. As we go into the next corner, turn 12, can we slide underneath Dovizioso? He's a little bit wide on the power. Side by side with Dovi. Down towards the penultimate turn. I think Dovi's going to hold it. So it's not going to quite be the victory here then. Unless we can do a Rossi 2009 style dive into the last corner. Marquez has dived on the inside of me. He's almost had me off there actually. Up towards the line. Marquez is going to try and beat us. We cut in front of Marquez. Up towards the line again. Yes, we beat Marquez. But Dovi finally gets his first win of the season. So close there to be able to get Dovizioso. But I'm happy because we've beaten Marquez. It's only 4 points back on him. But, you know, it would have been 4 points behind him if we'd finished behind him. So we've managed to beat Marquez on the last lap there. Almost beating Dovizioso as well. If I had a bit more grip on the front tyre, I probably could have managed to have got underneath him there into turn 10. But they were so weak there the whole race. I knew that was my opportunity to try and pass them. That's why I didn't go for 7 like I did on Rossi. In reality, I wish I'd gone for turn 10 on Rossi as well. And I probably could have just tried to pass Marquez there and had the last lap to try and pass Dovi. But, you know, you make these decisions in the heat of the race, in the heat of the moment, and sometimes they're the wrong one. But we still finished 2nd position. We beat Marc Marquez this time, not allowing him to gain a massive amount of points on us. Oliveira not in the points, neither for Lecuona, so that's unfortunate. But Quartararo down in 10th place, not sure what's gone on there. But nice for Rossi to be top Yamaha. Nice return to form with that 4th place there. So in the championship standings now then, Dovizioso with that moves at equal points with Maverick Vinales in 3rd in the championship. So he definitely is getting his championship back on track here. We're now only 33 points behind Marc Marquez. Rossi moves up into 9th in the championship, so he's making a bit of a charge towards the front. The Repsol Honda team then leading the championship still, but now by 47 points ahead of Monster Energy Yamaha, but then 48 points ahead of Mission Winner Ducati. So those guys getting very close. We're still sat in 4th place, but obviously it is hard to outscore these guys when my teammates can't quite put in the same level of performance. So in the Constructors standings then, we are 2nd still, 33 points behind Honda. Yamaha in 3rd place, 42 behind, and Ducati 2 points behind them. So Ducati and Yamaha having a bit of a battle here, getting very close in all of the championships. So then, we'll head into the podium celebrations and then back in the career hub, and we'll end off the episode there. I'm so happy to have got that 2nd position. A little disappointed I didn't get 1st, but we managed to beat Marquez, and that is what counts. We've took some of that advantage back. So it's down to 33 points, which is still a massive margin, but it shows that we can show the AI, we can beat them. Oh, I was so disappointed after Mugello. I'm so relieved now that we've had a good race here. Not the best qualifying as well, so it was a fantastic race to come back through the pack, a little bit like Austin. So Dovizioso finally winning a race here this season in Catalunya, getting his championship off to a charge. So top 3 in the championship on the podium then, and I think it's going to be between us 3 really, maybe Vinales as well, fighting for this championship for the rest of the year. So then on the reputation front, we gained 8,950 reputation points, which takes us up to 343,350. And on the credits then, obviously as we always do, we gained 32,863 credits, which takes us up to 404,074 credits. So then with no notifications, I think that marks the end of the episode. Looks like we've got a test in the next one, so that's what the next episode will be, the test. Perhaps I'll also stick to the next race in there. I'm not too sure. It depends how long it takes me to do the test. I think it's mainly for next year's bike. I don't think it's particularly for this one. But obviously the last test at Catalunya was, not Catalunya, sorry, at Sepang was pretty good fun. So hopefully the test at Catalunya will be the same. But I really did enjoy that race. I had to push the entire time to try and bring that gap back down. I didn't think I could do it at one point. There was a point where I wasn't lapping as fast as them, but then all of a sudden, every lap I was a good half a second plus faster than them, and I reeled it straight in, past Rossi obviously really aggressively there, but I had to. There was no choice but to really get past Rossi at that point. Perhaps I should have gone into turn 10, like I said a little bit earlier on, but a little bit after that. But we still got second, we still beat Marquez, so it's still a successful race in my book. So I hope you did enjoy that one. It was a bit better than the previous episode, a bit more of an exciting race. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next video.